If you're watching this video, you're probably familiar with the Russian T-14, but you might not be familiar with the other T-14, the American T-14. And honestly, if you never heard of it, that would be fair because there were only two ever built. The assault tank T-14 was a joint project between the United States and the UK to make a universal infantry tank. However, this project would never meet its end goals. This was mostly because the pilot model would not be delivered to the United Kingdom until 1944, but by the time this happened, the Churchill tank had already been in use for 2 years and was already being improved on greatly, and the US's efforts were eventually moved on to a similar tank, with a higher speed called the T-20 medium tank, which would eventually lead to the creation of the M26 Pershing, but that's a story for a different day. In 1941, the head of the United States Ordnance Department traveled to learn more about the experiences the UK had in order to get ideas for tank creation in the future. During this discussion, it was decided that it would be a good idea to make a well-armed, heavily armored combat vehicle that was stronger than the British Churchill. Britain initially ordered almost 9,000 of these tanks in 1942, and testing of the pilot model was completed in 1944. However, it was shown that the T-14 was just far too heavy to be used practically, and by this time Britain was already happy with the Churchill as previously mentioned. In the end, only 2 would be built and only 1 would be tested. The example sent to the UK is still in the Bovington Tank Museum to this day. And as a final interesting note, the British also designed their own version of the T-14 called the A-33 Excelsior, but this was never used either.